Hello and welcome back. You're still watching Enterprise Morning here on Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our main conversation now. The Nigerian Police Force has moved detained journalist Daniel Ojukwu to the Nigerian Police Force National Cybercrime Center, NPF, and CCC in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, FCT.
Yes, Ojukwu, a journalist with the Foundation for Investigative Journalism, FIJ, has been incommunicado at the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID, Banti in Lagos since Wednesday when he was detained.
That's right. It's noted that the head of the NPF and CCC Center has stated that Ojukwu was accused of violating the Cybercrime Prohibition Act 2015 for authorizing a story that revealed that the senior special assistant to former President Muhammadu Buhari on Sustainable Development Goals, Adejoke Orolope Adefuleri, paid 147 million to a restaurant for the construction of classrooms in Lagos.
And the Cyber Crime Act is a known law used to persecute journalists and media houses in Nigeria, as well as some sections of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, for broadcast stations.
All right, to do justice to the conversation again is our guest, Emeka Madunagu, a seasoned journalist.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for still staying with us, Emeka. Emeka, looking at this report, it reminds me of something that you had mentioned in the course of our newspaper review segment of the editor that was arrested, kept for 11 days.
Abducted,
and kept for close to a fortnight. We have seen this now playing out now. It is safe to say that the media is gagged, but seeing that press freedom is under attack is something that worries me, knowing that when President Tinubu came on board, one of the things that he promised was, press freedom, which gladdened my heart at the time. But seeing that this has, happened again in less than 2 months, what does this portend for the media in Nigeria?
See, let me tell you, the media should continue to bite harder. These people are cowards. They are cowards, bloody cowards. The media should bite harder. When you see people in power misusing the law, it shows you they have come to a point where they know that they are largely culpable for crimes against the people. So what do? Instead of heading to the courts, by filing a case for defamation, you know what they do? They'll just go to the police. Look at the case of Segun Olatunji. The different agency that should be responsible for issues of intelligence sent his marksmen to go and abduct Segun Olatunji. What's the difference between them and kidnappers on the streets? And Nigerians were shouting, they kept quiet. They didn't even let the information minister know. And then what did you see? The same thing they did to Daniel Ojukwu, to this colleague. The same thing was done to one of my friends some years ago at Ikorodu because of a story that at the end of the day was thrown out. One of Buhari's advisors used the police all the way from the Kwara State Police Command to track this colleague, and then got picked one of his friends and got him, please come and meet me at Ikorodu garage, blah, blah, blah. The guy went there, they picked him, they abducted him and took him to Ilorin. But we fought the matter. We threatened that, listen, we were going to go all out using the instrumentality of the law. And the cowardly Nigerian police backed down and, the matter was even thrown out eventually. What do we have here? Somebody, a publication, they brought out a story. And then you issued a statement and said the story was false. Now, what did you do? You went further to engage in self-help. The same people that are supposed to uphold the law are the same people serially abusing the law. And they stand condemned in the eyes of the law. Because what did they do? They claim cybercrime and all of that. That is what the Nigerian police, you have kidnappers, you have bandits, you have Boko Haram. They will not go after those ones. It's to use cybercrime. Boko Haram will be broadcasting on social media, that, you know, that they are doing this, they are doing that. Kidnappers will be negotiating with relatives of victims. And police cannot use the same cybercrime tools to track those enemies of the state, but it's to pursue journalists, harmless, defenseless journalists. That is their stock in trade. But let me tell you something. I always tell them, one day you will leave that position. One day you will leave that position. You will become an ordinary citizen. And take note that that office you are abusing, one day will turn against you. And you will run to the media to seek for help. But will remind you. There was a case of a police officer, a mobile police officer, who went to Canada, you know, to visit with his family. He applied for asylum. And they simply just traced back. Who filed petitions that no. The Canadian government denied him asylum and deported him and his family. People must take note. You can't fight the media and win. If you have a case, go and file for libel. Don't use the police to resort to self-help. And it's unfortunate that lawyers, senior lawyers, are the ones engaged in these things. Senior lawyers are the ones engaged in these things. They are the ones aiding the serious violation of the law. But let me tell you something. When you feed a tiger, one day you will end up in his belly. It's my advice to them. As at Tuesday, Ojukwu ought to have been released. One certain somebody, director of one certain police cybercrime unit or whatever they call themselves, was saying that they should go and bring a civil servant that we can identify. This is a bailable offense. Why are you cherry-picking conditions? But politicians will steal billions and they get bail easily. Let me tell you, we will continue to bite as Germany. We will continue to bite harder and harder and harder. We will not relent. If they like, they can throw all of us into jail. The same conditions that they make, you know, that they are, you know, the same conditions that you get, they are grooming in society will rise up and eat them up.
All right,
that is my prediction for them.
All right. You know, it's so sad to hear that, you know, especially the fact that it is happening to a colleague of ours. And my question actually is, I'd love you to speak to what you think the offense of Ojukwu, you know, was. But I would equally love us to, you know, go down memory lane during the military dictatorship, when decrees and treasonable felony was often used, you know, to get journalists and, you know, incarcerate them and all. We are in a democracy. The system has created Cybersecurity Crime Act as another form of decree to you know, to match journalists and media houses and equally get them culpable for things they didn't do. I would love you to speak to, number one, like I did say, what you think the crime Ojukwu has committed is. Then secondly, how is it that the media also is not speaking to creating enough awareness on everything we need to know about the Cyber Crime Act?
You see, this matter relating to Daniel Ojukwu is baseless and vexatious. It is baseless for the fact that FIJ reported that money meant for the building of classrooms, some of that was diverted to the account of a restaurant. And then the office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, you know, which was mentioned in the report, said that nothing like that happened. Now, he who comes to equity must do what? Come with clean hands. So what do? The ICPC needs to step in and investigate this matter, since it involves somebody, since it involves an office of government. But what do you find? Before the ICPC could move, the same characters indulged in self-help and decided to instigate the police. You will see this matter will go nowhere. You see, what these people keep thinking is that somehow if we keep intimidating journalists, they will back up. Let me tell you something. Abacha I was a journalist, active. When Abacha was sending his goons all over the place. They killed one of my colleagues, Tunde Oladipo, in front of his wife and children. But where's Abacha today? Pack of rotting bones in the grave. Eaten up by maggots and termites. Let me tell you something. You can indulge in self-help all you like. But there is a day called one day. One day is something sure for every human being. That power you think you wield will be taken from you by the efflux of events. And what will happen? You'll be powerless. You'll be as powerless as the people you're using that power to oppress. There is no crime that has been committed by Daniel Ojukwu. He only did his job as a journalist. If you have any issue, go to court, which is what the Nigerian Guild of Editors, Nigerian Union of Journalists have been talking about. The Nigerian Press Organization have been talking about. That the media now has an ombudsman that you can report issues to. That, okay, this story was carried in so-and-so publication, and this is injurious to image because it is false. Let the ombudsman investigate it. Because the ombudsman is headed by a respected journalist. Mr. Eloy Memeka is a former editor of The Guardian and former managing director of Guardian Newspapers. And, it has distinguished members, including Mr. Larry Edo, of, the publisher of Media Review, and the person behind the Dame Awards. Of course, Dame Awards are recognized, honors in this country. So, the efforts have been made and still ongoing to sensitize these people who serially abuse the law, assume powers they don't have. If there is a publication, report to the ombudsman. If there's a publication you have issues against, report to the ombudsman. Stop instigating security agencies against journalists. Because let me tell you, when you have a society that does not have an independent press, that society is in the jeopardy. Because what it means is that you are going to yield that space to enemies of state. Your hangers on psychophants, we're praising you, you're doing what you're doing. Do you know, look at it, the same people who are praising Emefiele, where are they? The same people who are saying, Buhari, there's nobody, nobody has ever run this country like Buhari. That Buhari is the best. The same people turned around and have been saying that Buhari destroyed Nigeria. I said, is that what human beings are? Not even up to a year since Buhari left. They're already saying all manner of things. What? Let me tell you something. The ombudsman. Resort to the ombudsman. If you feel seriously, you feel, you are too big to go to the ombudsman, then go to court.
Right, thank you.
File for libel. Okay. So they should release Daniel Ojukwu immediately. He must be released immediately. Before the end of today, Thursday, he must be released.
All right, thank you so much, Emeka. Emeka, the media that has also been referred to as the fourth estate of the realm is the watchdog.
Yeah, it is. It's in the constitution.
Of course, it's the watchdog of every society. And then when we have things like this play out, it sort of, erupts or invoke some sort of fear for me, because this is why we see even some mainstream media allegedly are partial with the truth, because when we have, I want to believe that our colleague Daniel must have sourced that information from some sort of impeccable source, where he got that information from. And like you rightly said, we have an ombudsman, and if you feel any sort of way about what was put out, go to court. But last week was marked press freedom.
World Press Freedom Day, yes.
But freedom is under threat under Tinubu. Would you think so?
What I just think is that I don't think that President Bola Tinubu has a personal as an axe to grind with the media. I don't think so. Well, let me give him the benefit of that. Even though some people say, no. Even when I raised the same thing, no. I said, okay, fine. I don't have evidence to say, to prove that Tinubu said somewhere, deal with the media. Because Tinubu himself has said it, that he has no interest in persecuting the media. So I give him the benefit of doubt on that. Secondly, you see, we're in a society of too many big men, strong men who feel that they are bigger than the society. And then we're also in a society where you have lawyers who are more after pecuniary gains than the growth and development of society. So they are ready to help people to trample on rights, on freedoms, trample on the law, insofar as they are going to get paid for such odious briefs. If not, why would senior lawyers be engaged in such things? The bar and the media are partners in progress. We jointly fought military rule. So how come? Why? Why? If a policeman engages in misconduct, where do you go to report the policeman? Do you go to the military, to the army barracks? No. You go to the police. And then the police will set up an orderly room trial and they'll subject the policeman to the rules guiding against misconduct in the police. Now we are saying the media has an ombudsman. Bring matters to the media. No, you are taking it to the police. But tomorrow the police will say we are partners in progress with the media. Let me tell you something. The people, a lot of these guys in the security agencies are just overestimating their importance. And I must tell you something. When the day will come that they will be shifted out of such positions, the media will remind them of how they misuse their power. One of them, spokesperson of one of the security agencies, have been threatening on X, formerly Twitter, that anybody who criticizes the police, that will pick them up. I wrote him, I put a reply, I said, calm down. We've had people who boasted more than you in the past. But where are they today? One day you're going to leave that position. In fact, one day you leave the police. Calm down. Don't get carried away by whatever powers you think the police have. Oh, you can only take people to the court. You are not the judge that will make the final decision. And don't forget, there are different layers of adjudication. That's why I tell people, if a lawyer tells you, sue him, take him to court. Will the lawyer assure you that he will write the judgment and make sure that you win? So, you see, the media is under attack. That point was made at the World Press Freedom Day, at the different events, the World Press Freedom Day. And the media is under attack. You see different agencies attacking the media, journalists carrying out their duties. Even after they've shown an ID card, I'm a journalist. You still attack them. Can you imagine the CSO to former President Buhari was the one who gave an order for China's television to be shut down. The Minister of Information didn't know about it. National Security Advisor didn't know about it. Nobody knew about it. In fact, National Security Advisor at that time was out of the country. He didn't know about it. They started tracing. Who could have issued this order now? Until they zeroed in on a mere CSO to the president.
All right.
So, one thing I must add is this. President Bola Tinubu should come out and rein in these characters that take pleasure in abridging media freedoms before the relationship with the media gets severed. All right,
Emeka, while we hold those in authority accountable, for either holding brief or smearing on press freedom in Nigeria, as a journalist, I would love you to speak to the quality of journalism in Nigeria, especially as against the fact that many of our politicians today are media entrepreneurs themselves, including the president. So speak to us on the quality of journalism in Nigeria. Are we the one including the situation that we have today?
Yeah, well, Chino mentioned something about the allegation that mainstream publications are partial. I wouldn't agree with that because every publication has its own interests. The interests of, has to pursue the interests of its proprietors while ensuring that basic truths, basic standards are not abridged. agree with that. Now,
Sorry,
certain
Emeka,
things.
let me weigh in there. How about when you have politicians who are media investors?
Yes, I was going there.
Okay.
I was going there. Now, unfortunately, you have a curious situation where politicians are among the wealthiest in the country through no known source of industrial endeavor. And then, what do you find? They look for different places to put money into. And one of them is the media. That's why you have so many blogs these days. When you see some of the headlines on the blogs, oh, I hold my head. I say, oh God, what is this? And people will call these ones journalists. I think too, yes, while we point the finger at those serially abridging press freedom, we should also look inwards. Yes, I agree. I admit that, there have been, number of cases where the media has not lived up to expectation. And I will call on my colleagues that we must also engage in a soul-searching exercise every day to make sure that we are not just serving the interests of our pockets or the interests of our proprietors, those paying our salaries, but we must ensure the public good, because like the Guardian quotes Uthman Danfodio, said, conscience is an open wound. Only the truth can heal it, and truth has no defense.
Very true.
So, please, I will just say that the media, yes, we should also try to be fair. We should also try to report the truth. There is this maxim in the media, when in doubt, leave out. So we must not forget that. Don't be in a hurry. Okay, so has happened. Those politicians, again, they are criminals. And then in your personal judgment, you avoid their judgment. No, do your story. Get all sides to the story. Put it there. Leave the readers to judge. That's how I was trained.
Right.
Leave the readers to judge.
Right.
And I think we'll have a balanced society.
Thank you so much. We have been speaking with Emeka Madulagu. He's a media veteran also. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right. Henry, it's been a field day. I just want to believe and hope that government is held accountable, which is part of what the media is about, basically.
Very true. Yesterday, North Korea actually paid tribute to one of its biggest propagandists. And remember, North Korea is one of those countries that do not, allow press freedom. So the question is, should we, in the course of holding a press responsible equally, allow what happens in North Korea possibly to happen in Nigeria? I don't think that is the case. And we should try as much as we can to allow the press to do their job the best way they know how.
Absolutely. On that note, it's a wrap on our program Enterprise Morning today. Remember, you can follow us on all our social media platforms as you see it rolling on your screen. I'm Chinyere Igwe.
And I'm Henry Igwe. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.